Okay, in 1.4 notes, we're going to go over absolute value. So the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on a number line. Since the distance is non-negative, the absolute value is always non-negative. So the absolute value is always going to be a positive number. The symbol, which it didn't show up in your notes, but this symbol is used to represent the absolute value of a number x. So the absolute value is always positive. So what would the absolute value of -6 be? Positive 6. What's the absolute value of +6? Positive 6. So the absolute value is always positive. So just think of it as those bars. Just always turn your number to a positive number. Even if it is positive, your number stays positive. All right, so to evaluate an expression with absolute values, we just do the same thing we were doing before. We take what we have for our variable and plug it in. So we have -4 minus 8, and we need to take the absolute value of that. What's -4 minus 8?
-12.
-12. What's the absolute value of -12?
12.
Positive 12. All right, for number 2, we take -9 and plug it in for y. So we have 7 times -9, and we need to take the absolute value of that. What is 7 times -9?
-63.
-63. Awesome. What's the absolute value of -63?
63.
63. Any questions? Okay, in the next example, we're doing the same thing. So here we need to plug in our -4 and -9. So we have -3 times the absolute value of -4 times -9. Remember, when I plug it in, I'm going to put it in parentheses just so I don't mix up our signs here. What's -4 times -9?
Positive 37.
Positive 36.
Oh.
What's the absolute value of positive 36?
36.
36. So we can get rid of those absolute value signs. What operation is happening in between this -3 and 36?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So we need to multiply -3 times 36. If I do it on the side over here, we have 36 times -3. 6 times 3.
108.
Awesome. -108. Perfect. So what's our answer here?
-108.
-108. Good job. All right, for number 4, we do the same thing. We need to plug in our x here. So we have -2, the absolute value of 3 times -4 plus 8 minus 4. So we treat these absolute value signs as if it was parentheses, and we still have to follow PEMDAS. Yeah.
You're allowed to leave at 2:30.
Okay.
Practice.
All right.
Okay, when during season, whenever we have practice or something like that, you're allowed to leave right when school, right when kids leave. And you're
-12.
All right.
Okay?
Thanks, CP.
Yep.
Okay, so 3 times negative 4 would be negative 12 plus 8,
-4.
negative 4. So we have the absolute value of negative 4. What's the absolute value of negative 4?
4.
4. So we have 2 times 4 minus 4. What do we need to do next?
Multiply.
Multiply. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. What's negative 8 minus 4?
-12.
Negative 12. Awesome. Any questions so far? Okay, next, when solving equations with absolute values, so this, it doesn't give us a number to plug in. We have an equation and we need to solve for x. In order to get rid of those absolute values, we need to do 2 different cases for this problem. So we know that x plus 8 can be a positive 12 or it can be a negative 12, because even if it's a negative 12 in here, the absolute values turn it into the positive 12. So the 2 cases we need to do, we drop our absolute value and we have x plus 8 is equal to positive 12 and x plus 8 is equal to negative 12. So once we get those absolute value signs all by itself on the other side of the equals, to get rid of them, we need to split our equation into 2. So we have x plus 8 is equal to positive 12 and x plus 8 is equal to negative 12. So now we're just going to solve this as if it were 2 different equations. So we're going to get 2 different values for x. What do we do to solve in our first x plus 8 is equal to 12?
Subtract 8.
Subtract 8. So what do you get for x here?
4.
4. Awesome. Now what do we do in our second case?
Subtract 8.
Subtract 8. But here we have negative 12 minus 8. What's negative 12 minus 8?
Negative 20.
Negative 20. So our 2 answers here are 4 and negative 20. So anytime when we're solving for x and we have absolute value signs, we need to split our equation into 2. Any questions here? Did I skip a slide? There we go. All right, let's take a look at this. What do we need to do first?
Subtract 4.
Subtract 4. Perfect. So we got our absolute value all by itself, and now we can get rid of it. What do we need to do to drop our absolute value?
Split.
Split it. So we have a minus 5 is equal to positive 5, and a minus 5 is equal to negative 5. What do we do to solve our equation on the left here? A minus 5 is equal to positive 5.
Add 5.
Add 5. So a is equal to 10. So that's one answer. And then what about our second equation here? A minus 5 is equal to negative 5. What do we need to do? Add 5. So we get a is equal to 0. And that's our second answer. And if we wanted to, we could take 10 and 0 and plug it in for a, and we would get 9 is equal to 9. So we could always check our work by just plugging our answer back in. Any questions here? All right, let's look at our next example. So for this one, we're gonna end up splitting our equation into two, but we can't do that yet until we get our absolute value signs all by itself. So we need to get rid of this plus 8. How do we get rid of that?
Minus 8.
Minus 8. And what we do on the left side of the equation, we have to do on the right side. So now we have b minus 3 is equal to, the 8's cancel out. What is 3 minus 8?
-5.
Negative 5. Now what do we do?
6 minus 3.
This is a b. B.
You add 3 on both sides.
Before we do that, how do we get rid of our absolute value signs? What do we need to do?
You make them split,
So we have b minus 3 is equal to negative 5, and b minus 3 is equal to positive 5. If we take the absolute value of something, are we ever going to get a negative number? If we take, no. So here we have no solution. Because we can never take the absolute value of something and get a negative. So if we split it and it's already negative, it's no solution. Because we can't take the absolute value and get a negative number.
Miss Carver,
Yes.
I think you skipped a slide.
I'll go back to it. This one. Okay, we did the one on slide 8. So let's go to our last slide, number 9. What should we do first here?
Add 5.
Add 5. So we have 3 times the absolute value of 2x minus 3. 5's cancel out, and that's equal to 9. What do we do next?
Divide.
Divide, awesome. So this 3 is being multiplied. We want our absolute value all by itself, so we need to do the inverse multiplication, which is division. So our 3's on the left cancel out. We have the absolute value of 2x minus 3. What is 9 divided by 3?
3.
3. What do we do next?
Split.
Split it. So we have 2x minus 3 is equal to positive 3, and 2x minus 3 is equal to negative 3. For our first equation on the left, what do we need to do to solve?
Add 3.
Add 3. So 2x is equal to 6. What do we do next?
Divide.
What's going on between this 2 and the x?
You divide 2.
Right, it's being multiplied, so to get rid of it, we divide 2. So what is 6 divided by 2?
3.
Awesome. So our first answer is x is equal to 3. What do we need to do for our second equation?
Add 3.
Add 3. So 2x is equal to, what's negative 3 plus 3?
0.
0. So then we divide 2. What is 0 divided by 2?
0.
0. So our second answer is x is equal to 0. Any questions on this?